GM Farcaster. It is Wednesday, August 14th, and you are here with Nounish Prof and Adrian for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day. And I'm so glad she's back.
I missed
Welcome
you.
back. I missed you, but you had an amazing trip. Yes.
I had an amazing trip. I feel like I should be gone. I should be allowed to go away for a week and not miss that much. But you did 4 episodes without me,
I know.
which
It was a
feels
lot.
like a lot and a lot of work. So thank you.
It was a lot. We missed you. We had great co-hosts, amazing co-hosts for the past month because there's been a couple other times too. But I am so glad to have you back. And we are in StreamYard right now as using their webinar feature as well as on Twitter and YouTube. And so I can show everybody's GMs, which makes me really happy. So let's dive in. First, I'm going to start with our backgrounds. And my background is this hilarious meme from I Speak Nerd. And I loved it. Our blessed homeland, our glorious DWR.eth, our great casts, our noble channels, our heroic builders, and then we have their barbarous wastes, their wicked Elon, their permanent posts, their backward hashtags, and their British anons. I just found this very funny. So thank you, I Speak Nerd, for the lulz. That was a good one.
I love
and
it.
Then
I'm built. I have a decades long personal project. I'm writing a children's book that has an anti-tribalism theme or an anti-tribal theme. So it's a back burner personal project, but I promise you it will be published and I can't wait to do so. And yes, it will be published on chain somehow, but this cast is so perfect. And I was actually as we go into election cycle, it's like the tribalism gets just worse and worse.
Yeah.
And
always.
I'm trying to opt out.
Yeah. Let's opt out of tribalism. I will say, it was fun the other night, and I didn't pull a cast from this, but during the discussion on Twitter, discussion's a big word, the Twitter space with Elon and former President Trump, we did do a tavern with a bunch of friends from Farcaster, and that was really fun. Like, it made it much more fun, and it was not, and there was clearly people on both sides of the aisle in there, obviously, and it made it it didn't feel toxic. It didn't feel like combative. It just felt like you're hanging with your friends and having, a nice conversation about world events. So that made it, and I liked that. So yeah,
that's right. You can actually have different opinions with your friends and still be friends. It's amazing.
And still be friends. It's amazing. That used to be the case all the time, but anyway. So, and then your background is, if you want to be part of a cool community art project, please reply with your hire PFP, and that is your hire PFP. So you have these tools, and then you can create a PFP with a hire hat. And I need to go do this. I love this one, Val Taylor. I need to go do this because I have not done this yet, but I love your PFP behind you with your fox wearing a hire hat. It's pretty cute. And this is getting ready for the launch of Hire FM, which is Chic's. We talked about it last Friday. Chic is launching that very soon as part of the UFO network. And I think that's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to it. The first mixtape is amazing, like amazing. Go listen to it. And I did that on Friday. Anyone who was in the chat actually has it in their wallet. So if you were in the chat last Friday, check your wallets because I sent you a little something. So it's waiting for you there. So I'm really excited for that launch. It's going to be a lot of fun. Moving on, a couple things from the Merkle team. We have this from DWR. Maybe we do. There we go. What should we do to improve direct casts for you? Looking for specific requests, and please like the requests from others that you most agree with. Assume the following will happen at some point, so no need to add. Search, composer actions for DCs, increase token gating options, better, more APIs. Did you have anything to add to this? I couldn't think of anything beyond those sort of.
No, just maybe an AI bot that responds to all my DCs for me.
There you go.
So
I think you
all.
could, I think that's an opportunity for another DC client. But yeah, lovely. That would be ideal, but no. Moving on, this from V. Farcaster apps continue to grow. Warpcast is still the biggest, but the share of the pie owned by other apps is getting bigger. Would be cool to see a Dune dashboard for this. And I thought this was part of the Dune dashboard, Farcaster Explorer Dune dashboard, but maybe it wasn't. But maybe it could be added to that one. But this is cool. Nadar, obviously, at the top. Supercast, Farcast, Privy, Jam. I think it's interesting what they consider a client, because I don't think that Privy is actually a client per se, but a lot of people are using it to log into things. Then you had Jam, Firefly app, Guild XYZ. That's another one that I don't think is a separate client per se. Scoop, Flink, Yup, Pinata Cloud, same thing. Farcord, ETHXY, I don't even know what that is, and Warpcast bot. So really interesting to see the new things that are showing up at the top. Again, I think some of those are actually tools that are in the background that are not necessarily they're not necessarily actual clients, but they're more tools that are being used by clients. So, but good to see it growing. And Duwoofy, thank you for co-hosting on Monday. Adrienne definitely got her tan on.
I wish Duwoofy could have seen us in the green room about 7 minutes ago. It's all lighting. It's actually not a tan.
Not a tan at all.
It's lighting and makeup, but thank you.
I think she used a lot of sunscreen. It was definitely not a tan. Also, what else would you like to see on the Explore tab? We have some comments about this, actually, and let me see if I can find yours.
First of all, I'm upset that I didn't get to talk to you about the Explore tab. I don't like.
Oh, let's talk about the Explore
Merkel
tab.
dropping new things, but I did hear you talk about it.
We can talk about it now. So you had some comments.
Exciting.
You had some comments on here about what you'd like to see on the Explore tab, which is Farcaster native media, podcast shows, newsletters, etc. What do you think I'd say? And then, of course, Humpty comes in +1, as well as Duwoofy, and I commented as well. So obviously that is what we'd like to see. The Explore tab is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I had a funny moment where I'm like, oh no, I lost my trending tab. And then you're like, look on the left.
So yeah, you can, if you miss trending tab, it's like at the top of your channels list. So you can get it back, maybe somewhere slightly different on web. I just think it's so cool that there is a place now to kind of see Farcaster as an ecosystem. So yes, Warpcast is still the client that the majority of us use. And but we know there's all these other apps that are built on top, other clients. So I'm happy to see them highlighting it. It may be self-serving, but I know people have told us like, it's hard to find certain shows. And, it's not just GM Farcaster. There's all these other kind of Farcaster native media that's happening and people getting entertainment. So it seems like a cool opportunity to highlight. I can picture little tiles that show various Farcaster
media
creators.
Category. Yeah, a media category that just takes you to their channels would be even enough for now, because it's harder to integrate the actual, hey, they're going live. That's the ultimate, right? A way to discover who's live now, either on audio or video. That's Farcaster native media would be ideal. But in the meantime, I'll just take a little tile that points to the channel. That would be fantastic. So I think that would be super helpful. Zach agrees. Would love to see a media category. I do think that would be super helpful. And I know that we've heard from a lot of folks that when they first get onto Farcaster, media is what helps them sort of acclimate and figure things out. And I know that we've been helpful with that, but other podcasts, etc. as well. So I'd love to see that. Yeah, definitely. Would be very cool.
Jeff Goldberg also asked for media in response to that, and Beta Shop, I think, underscored it and said it'd be really helpful. There's a little back and forth. You can kind of read on we don't have to go into it, but if we'll put it in the show notes. Dan was not totally convinced of it, and talking about how there's he's looked into it in the past, and it seems like low audience and low numbers. By the way, it's a little bit of
hey Dan, do you know how we get our numbers up? You help us.
I know. I mean, yeah, it is, is it because whatever, but I actually think he was looking at building infrastructure for it. I think there's a little bit of a disconnect and looking at it as if he needs to build the infrastructure, just like he doesn't need to build the infrastructure for Supercast to work, but he can still highlight Supercast.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it has to be that complicated. I think what they were asking for is a little more complicated. It is that sort of discovery, hey, it's live right now kind of moment. But I think you could, in the meantime, do something much simpler. That's really just a tile that like links back to a channel, and that would do it pretty much. So, yeah. So there was a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of beef. There was a little bit of beef. Yes, to crypto, a little bit.
Well, isn't that what people wanted?
Yeah, apparently some people want beef. I like it when it's peaceful. I actually agree with this comment. Now I can't find it, of course, related to that. Linda's comment here about a Farcaster community culture right now is the type of place where if you accidentally send funds to the wrong user, there's a high likelihood they would send the funds back to you. I would agree with that. And I like it that way. I don't want us to be more like Twitter just to get more eyes. No, thank you. Okay, back to a few other notes here. Based Games is launching. Welcome to Based Games, Warriors, where only the most based survive. All info about the games is now live on basedgames.fun. Countdown to battle 1 day, 23 hours. So I believe this is from a couple days ago, so I believe it's already started. I don't know enough about this yet, but I think this is pretty cool. FBI, which is the Farcaster Builders India. This is coming from them, and this looks really neat. And I'm all about survivor-like games, so how about it? I'm looking forward to seeing how this works out. Also, a new thing that has launched recently that you commented on, and I've been meaning to spend some time checking out, is microsub. And this is from you. I haven't been following exactly how microsub works, but around this time every day, I get notified of people who are supporting me with DGen through microsub. I see you, Alina Oxbed, just build and appreciate it. Downshift, I like how your notification includes instructions for muting. I have it muted because it's a nice little gift each day. And this was from Downshift, who created this microsub, and microsub is an insurance against your tipping allowance going to waste. Tip as usual or not at all before your allowance resets. Microsub will tip any remaining DGen and ham to the creators of your choosing for you automatically. Set it and forget it. Follow microsub and nominate creators using the frame below. So that was pretty cool. And I have also had some tipping via microsub hitting me as well, and I've been very appreciative of that. So thank you for those who are doing that. That's really nice to see. And I'm trying to figure out if I now have a rollover where I don't lose any tipping because I'm at the max for DGen. So they kind of changed those rules there. So this really isn't the same, like it's changed a little bit for me. But I wanted to look and see if there's a way to just allot a certain amount to that each day would be pretty cool. And I don't think there is yet, but that would be a great enhancement for me for sure. And little note from Yes to Crypto. Today is day 3 of Base Games. 200 people. I was voted out day 1. Sorry, Yes to Crypto. They knew, you know what? If you're voted out day 1, they saw you as a threat. Clearly, they saw you as a threat. That had to be it. We know how that goes, but nobody saw Adrian as a threat.
It's true.
Yeah.
If we're throwing back to, if we're doing throwbacks as well, back to Linda's cast of saying,
Oh, yeah.
Farcaster is a place you can accidentally send ETH to. WillyWonka.eth volunteered to test the theory out. So send
There you go.
WillyWonka.eth some ETH, and we'll see if
We'll see if he sends it back. NFA DYOR. So, I feel like this is a good time to play Song of Dave Man's Stop Sending Money to People on the Internet. And that was my nice way of saying it. But so that was really cool. I love seeing Microsoft. We have a couple new metas that have been popping up on the timeline. And this was the when I log on meta of how it feels when you log into Farcaster. It's kind of started with Horsefax's little cast here and kind of went from there. And then Dan had casted this. Everything is loading a little slow for me today. Just bear with me. This is when I log on and the windows, and then that led to I can hear it. So then the I can hear it meta began, and I can literally hear this next one in my head. The dot matrix printer. I can hear this. I can totally hear this. I can also hear this very loudly because it's quite the screech. If you know, you know. For those of you youngins, you may not have experienced AOL, America Online, but that was the early one. And then for those of you parents, Adrian, swiper, no swiping. I can absolutely hear this. So, and we used to have my father-in-law painted this giant mural that had Dora and Swiper and all these like on a golf course. It was great. It was beautiful. But that was in my house for 10 years or something. So yeah, there was a lot of swiper, no swiping comments in my household when my child was a youngin. So,
well,
so funny.
On vacation, my oldest turned 18 a few weeks ago, and I'm sending her off to college. And so we just had our kind of last family vacation together. So we were doing a lot of reminiscing, and we were just kind of going back to what life was like about 18 years ago. And she was freaking obsessed with Dora.
Oh my God.
It was
right.
I can't even. So Dora's been on my mind.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Also, this I can taste it. I can taste this. There was a lot of I can smell it, that kind of thing. So a lot of various things popping up. So look for that meta on your timeline. Pretty funny. And yeah, amazing. By the way, you just said last family trip, and I just have to pause right there because immediately I think of my dad. My dad used it's the last family trip guilt trip on me from age 17 until like 2015. Like it was like because every time he wanted to get us to go somewhere as a family, it was this is the last family trip. This is the last family trip. And he did that to me for years, for decades, literally. But it's funny to hear that the tradition continues in your family as well.
Yeah, it's the last one. But also you never know.
Yes, Stuart. I was age 20 in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's so funny. But yeah, forever. That's an ongoing family joke, the last family trip. Moving on to we have a few people launching things, which we always love to highlight. So this week we have OK Banger, which just launched yesterday. Cameron, this is from Kristen. Cameron and I live streamed the inaugural OK Banger show this morning. We talked about what makes a good banger and how to go fast. And I believe this episode was called Speed. It's also it's on-chain history on Base, of course. So they are minting on pods.media, and they are streaming on YouTube live. And they're going to be doing this. I think they're starting with like a 6-week run and twice a week, I believe, something like that. So they'll be back on tomorrow, and looking forward to catching that live. I did miss it yesterday, unfortunately. So look for that. It's a lot of fun.
I'm really excited they're doing this.
I am too.
Love you, Art, but I got to say, I'm really excited to see the Kristen Cameron matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. I'm excited as well. And this is from Kahlo, who has also launched something a little new, Welcome to rodeo.club. New podcast episode featuring Saturnial.eth is out. Great chat about the new social media app, state of digital art, and what Web3 unlocks for creators and curators. P.S. Rodeo is now open to all Farcaster users. So this is interesting and a lot of fun. Go check that out. Moshi Cam is launching something new. Why is everything loading so slow today? A few lucky users got to try a brand new feature early today. Can anyone guess what it is? I mean, I could guess, but I actually knew because I got to be one of the testers. So I casted this, the last GM in CA. So this was my the view out my window when I was leaving Palm Springs. So got a great sunrise in there, a nice little GM, and I got to add this little GM sticker to this frame. And so they're adding some stickers in there, which are really cute. So go check that out. That should be launching to everybody soon. I think it's still in a little bit of a beta. Did you test this out yet? I think you have access too.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good.
Check the dogs channel. I posted a Moshi Cam with some dogs and threw some stickers on it. It's fun. Moshi Cam is such like a light, playful, creative like app, and
it's so fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good, it's a fun, good way, like intro to minting on chain without having to have as much friction. So yeah, I think it's fun. I like it. I'm enjoying it. I had fun with the FWB Fest stuff too. I saw a lot of good ones. So I was able to, what I really liked was going through the Moshi Cam app and minting other people's that maybe I missed, or, you know, some of them I was in them, but I didn't even realize they took it or whatever. So that was really fun to be able to kind of just flip through and grab a bunch of those and have them now in my wallet. So fun way to look back. A lot of fun. This from Chris Corella. This, of course, goes a little deeper. Bhutan measures GNH instead of GDP, gross national happiness. It has historically been known for its isolation and limited engagement with the outside world, but it has been gradually opening up. They are hosting a Bhutan Innovation Forum on October 1 to 3 and wanted to extend an invite to anyone, announce who's interested, or anyone really, on Farcaster. If that's you, reach out. We can coordinate. It's only a 30% discount. They'll approve you for a 10-day visa. It's essentially an opportunity to attend this event, hang out with interesting people, and meet the Bhutanese, spend some time in the country few have seen. So I thought this was really cool. What I really liked was gross national happiness. I think that's a much better way to measure success. And I've seen a few other indicators like that other countries have tried to measure different statistics rather than just gross domestic product.
Yeah.
So
I knew this about Bhutan.
I did not know that
they measure happiness. It's like a small Buddhist country in the Himalayas, and yeah.
How do they measure it? Is what I wonder. I wonder if they're like, do you know off the top of your head? If not, I'll have to look into it. But
no,
I'm curious, like how it's measured. And I've seen other types of measurements like that, where they're taking things like, you know, mental health and suicide rates and things like that to measure, like, are you going in a good direction, bad direction, that kind of thing, rather than just money.
Yeah. On a slight tangent, and I've casted about this, I joined the board of a new nonprofit that's providing aid to Mongolia. And one of the things that Mongolia has done recently, which is also, it's not officially a Buddhist country, but there are a lot of Buddhists, they're adding compassion training as part of their school curriculum, with an emphasis on kind of all the emotional intelligence. Yes, do all the traditional kind of math, science, and humanities, but putting in all this kind of official emotional development as well, social and emotional development.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I think that's definitely something to measure more so than just money. And if you think about like something like blue zones too, which made me, it kind of connects of like areas of the world where people live longest, that live longer than 100 years, and they all have like some similarities and one of those is community. And, it's things that it has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with how much income people make. It has to do with all these other things. And it's really kind of an interesting thing for sure. Yes, we'll have to ask Beta Shop if AirStack can incorporate a happiness and compassion elements. That would be interesting. I don't know how we'd capture that, but that could be really cool. Moving on, we've got a couple more things to chat about. Related. This from Brian Morris, who I don't think he's in our chat today. He was there yesterday. There is no life-work balance. It's all life. The part called work is created when what you do is in conflict with that which you wish to spend your energy on. Fear and zeitgeist forces many people to do what grinds on them as delusional path to happiness. It's a time of culture that will be looked back on as tragic. And it was interesting because I've thought about this a lot, about balance and work-life balance. And I feel like that's a complete misnomer and completely impossible. And I used to think that was what I wanted and what I chased. And when I was single, it made sense in my head. And then I got married, had a kid, and was like, oh, no. There is no work-life balance. It does not exist. You get to choose. And then one day it's this and one day it's that. And there's no you can't evenly go, I'm going to spend this many hours on this and this many. No, it does not work that way. So I, just seek for some kind of harmony between all the things that are happening in my world. But there's always going to be times when I'm more focused on, my kiddo and what's going on with him, and other times when I'm more focused on my work, and vice versa, all those kind of things. But what are your thoughts on work-life balance? Is that a thing? What do you think?
Yeah, but it's more of a North Star aspiration. You're never really balanced. And like you said, you're never really balanced on any given day, but maybe hopefully over the course of a lifetime, you can find some balance.
Find some balance. I think also what makes you happy is changes over time. Cute little toddlers are really good at sparking joy. Teenagers, not so much.
I love my teenagers.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. I have a wonderful child. But I really feel like there is those moments where sometimes you're getting more joy and satisfaction from your work, and other times when you're getting more joy and satisfaction from your family or other things outside of work. And it varies.
But also kind of separating work and how you get an income, which is necessary to live.
Yes.
Because we live in this society, right? And doesn't always have to be, I don't think has to be necessarily where you get your meaning and purpose from life. And it's okay if they're not the same thing. There's lucky people who can combine the two. And that's you're kind of making an income where you're also doing your life's work, and that's beautiful. But I don't know if that needs to be the expectation for everyone. I think it's kind of okay to also have that separate.
I agree. And I think that I've definitely had times where work was just work and it was the way to just make an income, pay the bills. And then there's times when it sparks a lot of joy. And I'm in one of those moments. So it's really work Farcaster balance. Yes, there you go. Yeah. I think harmony to me makes more sense than balance, as long as, because balance means that sometimes the only times I've had real balance is when there's been nothing on either side. It's I've been miserable on both sides. That's been a balance, but not in a good way. So there you go.
That's sad.
Speaking of fun things, this was from the Pizza Dow event up at Futurist in Toronto. The Kadima crew are out there. We saw them at East Denver, and they're back, and they've been making their rounds. And there's also been some really cool other events happening with Snickerdoodle's been sponsoring a bunch of things. And Lynx, our friend Lynx, has been up there killing it with putting together all these events. So we've been watching all that. Very cool. So Lynx, well done.
Lynx, if you took that video, please take more videos and post more. I like videos.
I know. We need more videos. This is fun.
It's a nice shot.
Yeah, it's a good shot, definitely. And lastly, to wrap us up today, this from Linda. Linda went on a little buying spree on Hypersub, and hopefully it will show any second now. Oh my God, come on, Warpcast. But she went and she signed up for a whole bunch of Hypersubs, including GM Farcaster. It's not going to show. It's just not going to show right now, but trust me, it was fantastic. Thank you, Linda. And the reason I also wanted to show that is we're going to do something a little different on Friday this week, where we're going to have a little GM in the PM and do a little happy hour at 5 p.m. Eastern instead of our usual 8:30 a.m. show. And what we're going to do is start off with the regular show, just doing a few pieces of news, whatever's happening going on, and then we're going to open it up to all of you. But you will need one of our Hypersub tokens, either Wawa or Mole, in order to participate and jump on stage. So we want to bring you all up to share whatever it is you're building, maybe a cast that you really like that you wanted to talk about. It can be whatever. And if you're a non and you don't want to jump on video, you can just have your PFP there and just be voice. That is fine. But if you are one of our Hypersub subscribers, we'll be posting a little form where you can sort of indicate that you're going to be there and you're going to want to jump on the stage. This is also allowing us. So this week we've been doing a little experiment, testing out the on-air webinar features in StreamYard, because we're going to be doing a 6-week webinar series with Snickerdoodle. We'll be talking more about that in the next week or so. And so we wanted to make sure we knew how everything worked inside of here. One of the things we need to test is bringing people on stage. So we're going to let you guys come on up stage. And this was what also, okay, now this is actually loading. So this was from Linda, my new Hypersub subscriptions. And you can see she's got the Mole. She's got Terminally Online. I don't know what that one is. But there's a whole bunch here. Money Such Cases, Peaches. So there's a whole bunch of fun ones here. Go check them out. And thank you, Linda. If you want to pop on Friday, we'd love to have you come up and chat about Bounty Caster. So there you go. So look for the cast later today with a little form if you want to jump up on stage with us on Friday. Otherwise, you can just jump in the chat and hang out. And we'll do like a little bit of a regular show and then a little bit of a fun hangout. Let's highlight some of the builders in the space kind of a thing. And that is it. Anything else that we need to highlight today? We had a few other things, but we always have links we don't get to, by the way. They are in the show notes. So definitely take a look at the show notes, because we always hide a few little Easter eggs in there as well. And
I think we covered it all.
How's your first day back?
How did everybody feel? How does everyone feel? I'm curious how everyone feels about new StreamYard as a location. There was some comment. I know that it's not great on mobile. So I know links had to move over to YouTube. So YouTube better for mobile. StreamYard doesn't have dark mode. For myself, I enjoy having the chat all in one place, that we can throw little comments up on the screen. And
like this. I miss Doofy as co-host. Doofy, you were a fantastic co-host, by the way. You were fantastic.
If the Doofy episode gets more than 500 mints, I will turn over my seat to Doofy, and he can reclaim the throne forever.
Okay.
Careful what you wish for.
Doofy goes to mint 500. He said no.
He's major regretting. No, he's good.
Oh God, no. That's funny. Yeah, we're both doing it. That's funny. All right. Well, I do like that. That was one of the things I requested of Unlonely. I'm like, can we get it so that we can pull your comments in the same way we can do them here? Unique minters. Unique minters. Good point. Very good point. Yeah, we do need to up our bot game for sure. I've been meaning to set up a calendar events.xyz for our channel. So we are going to do that as well. Ooh, interesting. Do we think that Dwoofy is Randamero? I've had that is you have been definitely on my list of suspects for sure. Definitely on the list of suspects. We shall see though. We shall see. It might be multiple people, is what I think now. I think it's
my favorite part of
JTGI
being
and
on vacation.
other people.
My favorite part of being on vacation is listening to GM Farcaster. I get to hear it as I really enjoy it. And I heard you, I forget with who, trying to guess who maybe Randamero was. I think it might have been Toady Hawk.
I think it was Toady. I think Toady and I were talking about it. Yeah, I think it was one of those Wednesdays.
But you had said maybe JTGI.
Yeah. It was the day he dropped something. JTGI dropped something where you could be your own Randamero. And I was like, huh, that's interesting.
And having multiple people.
Yeah.
So one, I think it's actually likely it is a multiple people doing it, but I think it could be JTGI. I think he's got it in him.
Yeah.
So
I think so. I think it could be him. So we'll see. Oh, this is funny. Adrienne DeMero. Adrienne DeMero. Oh, okay. Dwoofy says no, it's one person. Okay. Well, then I'm putting my bet on JTGI. I don't know why.
Or maybe it's me and I'm just throwing some FUD out there.
It could be. It could be. There was that circle too that Randamero shared. And it was interesting. You were not in it.
Well, it's hard to.
But I was in it and I was very close. So I'm just saying. So we shall see. We shall see. And then you're very confusing, Dwoofy. I don't know. Is it you? Is it not? Who knows? All right. With that, we are going to call it, and we will be back Friday at a different time. We're going to be here at 5 p.m. Eastern with a fun little GM in the PM, and we'll hopefully get to see lots of builders pop up on stage with us and tell us what they're building. So we'll see you then, and until then, bye-bye.